With our favorite movie stars and directors, but sometimes it's the people behind the scenes who are the unsung heroes of filmmaking. One such individual is sound designer and film editor Walter Murch. Over the past 3 decades, his theories and practices on picture and sound have elevated the art and impact of filmmaking.
I had already fallen in love with sound before I went to the film school. It was something that had deeply impressed me in my early teenage years when tape recorders first became possible. I was at school with George Lucas, and Francis Coppola was at UCLA at the same time. John Milius was also at USC, and we felt very much all of a part together, because something, and we didn't know what it was, had driven us all to film school.
THX, this is Inter Control.
All right, then just back off, THX 1138. Back off for a second.
Usually I would edit the films, and he would do the sound work on the films. Then he went on to edit, too. You know, we have a very close relationship and a very close friendship. You know, he's an extremely talented and intelligent man.
Kill us if he got the chance.
His mind is very unusual in that he's always looking for bigger theories about things. So he's like a philosopher editor. He can come up with very creative ideas and unusual ways to bring the scene, the material out better.
The images we choose and the sounds we choose to put with the images, we are always looking to heighten that reality.
My name is Dorothy Gale, Your Majesty, and these are my friends, Tick-Tock, Jack, and the Gump.
Not the Dorothy Gale from Kansas.
Yeah, I was a little girl. I was like 8 or 9 when I worked with him. Walter Murch is probably one of the only real, genuine, no baloney here geniuses that I've ever met. He is amazing. He is so smart. He wrote a book called In the Blink of an Eye about editing that I read, and I mean, his whole explanation about it is like you're dancing with film.
I think I like Ghost quite a bit. That's one that probably a lot of people don't mention, but I thought that really was an interesting movie.
Almost.
Saved your life.
Shit. You scared me to death. Why did you do that?
I particularly love the invasion sequence in Unbearable Lightness of Being, because it's such an interesting fusion of documentary and dramatic film. By forcing a greater intensity when it's appropriate into the sound and the image, you can get fantastic collisions of things that help to allow you to taste what a scene is like or to smell it.
Now, so many years later, that the audience might be willing to have a longer film and a more unusual film.
Principally, we've added back the 25 minutes of a sequence that takes place in a French rubber plantation in Indochina. There's more material with Brando. There is more material with Robert Duvall. So the film is now 3 hours and 15 minutes long. It will have an intermission. It's a big project. The clip you're about to see comes from the very earliest period of Edison's experiment with cinema. What you'll be looking at is the first time sound and image ever were put together on a piece of film from 1894. Sound and editing are ways in which you can examine the interrelationship of thoughts, that each shot and each sound represents a thought or a way of thinking. And to be able to both examine that and then to organize it in a way that encourages that same pattern of thinking in the audience is very exhilarating.